My old tennis shoes have worn out. You can see the heel is pretty bad there. So I'm going to try a trick that I've done on my work shoes that lasted for 6 years in the factory and 10 years since working in the garden. I was lucky enough to find a piece of tire tread with no metal bands in it, and I glued it with shoe glue onto the bottom of my shoe. And as you can see, this heel isn't worn hardly at all. So you take your brand new tennis shoes, lay it down, trace it out. I was fortunate enough to find this flat piece of rubber, 1/4 inch thick. They use it on bridge constructions on the interstate to set the I-beams on. Fortunate enough to find that laying there. So you cut out your sole size there, and then you practice putting these together. And the most critical part is going to be on the heel, because it curves up. Your shoe isn't perfectly flat. So you want that to match perfect on the back. On the front, you don't walk all the way up on your toe, so that can be a little bit short. I didn't cut this long enough. But we're going to use it as the shoe glue as contact cement, where you put the glue on both surfaces and you bring them together. And once they touch, they start to bond, so you don't have much leeway. So you want to practice putting it in place, and also practice putting on your clamps before you put your glue on any of the surface, so you can be ready for any of the problems you will have. So we're going to glue this here up, and we're going to get started. I'm going to put a liberal amount of shoe glue down the middle. Kind of thick. More up front. And because it's pretty thick, I use a cheap plastic spatula to spread it out. Spread it to the outside, especially on the heel and the toe and the arch. Those are the parts that aren't flat and will need to be critically bonded. So we'll just spread that out. Once you got your new sole covered, straighten your tube out. Start rolling it up so it's easier to get the glue to come out. And put it on the bottom of the shoe. It's got a rough surface, so it's going to be a little bit more of a task to put on. Especially get all the high points. You got a lot of dips, so you may want to put a liberal amount on here. Practice putting the glue on and holding the shoe at the same time. Got a lot of dips in it. Put as much as you can on there. Then use your spatula to spread it out. The instructions say you have 2 to 10 minutes before you've passed the bonding time. So you got to work smooth and quick, but there's no really super rush. It would have been better to do the shoe first, since it takes longer, and then do the sole. I'm going to finish spreading this out and start assembling it. Ended up having to use a whole tube just for one shoe, just so you can be aware. Now for the critical part. Want that heel to be on there, and you want to get it as good as you can. Still pretty soft, so I got a little bit of wiggle room. Looks like the heel is going to be nice and flush. Sides are good. I've already tested how to assemble it before I applied the glue. I I figured it was best to start a little bit back from the middle foot first. In the arch, clamp on one side, clamp on the other side. It's starting to ooze out. Start working my way forward on each side. Try not to get it on my hand, get it on my shoe. Wrong one. This here is supposed to be on the toe, so a little bit bigger. It brings that toe up. You can see it. Brings right up to that round shape. Problem is going to be on the curve to get it to be in contact until it dries. Doing pretty good there. Now, the only way I figured to do the heel, put a block of wood on the inside, is a 4-inch clamp. Comes down, block of wood on the bottom for the heel, hold that whole surface up. And then tighten it up. Trying to make sure I got her good. And I ended up doing one shoe at a time. I needed all of my clamps that I thought I was going to do for 2 shoes just to get one shoe, to get that sole to lie flat all the time. Be prepared for that and be willing to just do one shoe. But it's been long enough. Remove all the clamps. Move the C-clamp, hold that heel on good. Got a few bubbles. Have to trim up around the edge. Use a razor knife for that. As you can see, the heel is real nice. It conforms up to the back. The toe has a curve. No holes along the side that water would get in. Did a good job. Now we'll just see what it does. After a week of wear, this here should last 2 years instead of 6 months. This is putting new soles on new shoes. Some assembly required.